They do not have the power to just say, I'm a doctor, I'm an expert in this area, be healed. No, they have the knowledge. Maybe there's some medication that could work, but they do not have control to heal. Jesus does. Jesus is the great physician. Jesus is the great healer who is sovereignly in control over this man who had paralysis. And in a moment, the paralysis was vanquished by a mere word. Crippled man, just by his word, 38 years of paralysis is cured. And we see at once, he took up his bed and he walked. This is predicted. This is prophesied. You go all the way back to Isaiah. This is prophesied 600-700 years earlier. And in Isaiah 35:6, this is what it said. Then shall the lame man leap like a deer. They will be healed. At that time when he comes, the Savior comes, people will be healed. The blind will see. The lame will leap like a deer. And we're seeing it in this exact moment because Jesus commands sickness. He commands disease to flee from its victims. He had authority even over the physical. Walking 38 years. I cannot imagine how ecstatic he was. Some of us, we have been injured before. We've been on crutches for 6 months or 3 months, or a boot. We had to put that boot on. And we thought, is this ever going to be done? I could not imagine 38 years. I'm 37. Almost my entire life, or a little more than my entire life. He was crippled. And yet here Jesus, it doesn't seem like he gave him a day, maybe a couple hours. And he went to him and he says, what matters more than your 38 years of you being made well is that you are made spiritually well. Sin no more. There's nothing worse in this world than staying in your sin, than continuing to not have a relationship with the Savior. Your body's healed. Now let's make sure your soul is healed. You can be physically strong, but be spiritually dead. We can be physically successful, but spiritually dead. We can be, in a lot of ways, very fiscally responsible, financially stable, but spiritually dead. We can be very structured and have our ducks in order and disciplined and be spiritually dead. I love it how David Platt says it. He says it this way. The road that leads to heaven is risky, lonely, and costly in this world, and few are willing to pay the price. Following Jesus involves losing your life and finding new life in him. And so some of us, we might need to go and assess our own soul and say, am I strong in certain areas, but spiritually dead in these areas? Because when the authority of Jesus starts speaking in our life, we need to think, how do I respond? How do I actually respond in those moments? Because here he has the power to heal. He has the power to command. And so when he commands, when he speaks, when God has showed up in our life, how do we respond? What's the answer? God, I will respond in obedience. God, I will respond in obedience up until this point. If this line is breached, I'm not ready to do that yet. Here Jesus spoke in this man. Sin no more. Worse will happen. Yes, you're physically well now, but it'll only be worse if you continue to not follow God. So here he speaks with authority. He commands with authority. And